Hello, it's Sean Tuttle at the Project Simplify World headquarters on February 10th, 2011. I did a speech at our Toastmasters group, our advanced group, last night, and it was about vision, finding your vision, and figuring out what that looks like in your life. I started telling part of my story that I haven't been telling, uh, in part because I haven't really known how I want to portray it. It was a very significant event in my life, and it had to do with, I can't even say, getting taken by another person, basically. I was there as a willing participant and really had no idea what I'd gotten myself into. Sure, there was good stuff in it as well, but for the most part, there was a lot of pain. So one of the pieces of feedback that I got from one of my fellow Toastmasters was she wanted to know what was the turning point. Being in this situation for 15 months and being emotionally and verbally abused, not knowing which way was up, and it just being this really weird, confusing, bizarre time in my life. What turned it around? What got me to stand up and say, okay, it's going to be different now, and change my life, which is what I did. And I started doing some writing on that this morning to see, how I could pull that in. I'm not sure what that part will be, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about what that was. And I say this because this can be a general thing. If you, and in this case I'm just going to say but when I found myself basically falling, more or less. I was not grounded and was in this, very weird, bizarre situation, like I said. I wasn't living in my house at the time. I was living in San Luis Obispo. For a number of reasons, I ended up moving back into my house in Santa Barbara, and it was actually at the suggestion of the person that was causing the most damage in my life. She wasn't living there in Santa Barbara at the time. So when I got back to Santa Barbara, I was actually living in my house by myself. Before I had had roommates, but I was living there by myself. And since this other person wasn't there, I started to get a little bit of my strength back, a little bit of my confidence back. It was like I'd finally found the floor. I had been falling and was just floating and falling all at the same time, but all of a sudden there was a ground. And I used that ground to start standing up again. Unfortunately, what that meant for this person was that she had to cut me down even harder to make herself feel better, because she saw me getting stronger, and, far be it from her for that to happen. And the situations of verbal and emotional abuse just got stronger and stronger to cut me down again. However, because I was developing that strength slowly in the times that she wasn't there, I was finally able to get the strength and the conviction. That was the important part, the conviction that I didn't want to be in that situation anymore. And I did take a stand. And one day I said, no more. I'm not doing this anymore. This is ridiculous. And I literally have not spoken with her since, and that was 7 years ago. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story, if you are in the unfortunate position of being cut down repeatedly and systematically by another person, find that thing in your life, whether it be a place, an activity, something that you have confidence in, that makes you feel good, that nobody can take away from you. Keep going back there. Find your strength there. And stand up, because you can do it.